Adam. I'm Nicole Sliman. I am the Director of Sales and Marketing at the Sheraton Milwaukee Brookfield with Anchorage Hospitality. So I am your new Allied Director, having taken over from Adam, our brand new President. I do have the privilege to introduce a brand new friend. So Ben Bernard is our partnership, he is a partnership and brand manager at Driven, where he specializes in building relationships that connect business travel, hospitality, and community. With nearly 2 decades of experience spanning technology, hospitality, and event management, Ben has led projects ranging from high-profile entertainment events to community volunteer initiatives. He is also the founder of Volunteers for Vegas, a nonprofit dedicated to mobilizing kindness through local service. Known for his energy, absolutely, creativity, and ability to bring people together, Ben thrives on turning connections into opportunities for growth and impact. Please help me welcome Ben up here.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I am so happy to be here. My name is Ben, and I work with Driven as the partner and brand manager. I'm a pacer, so you're going to see me walking back and forth a lot through this presentation. And this presentation, I just want to say technology is incredible, but there is not a single piece of AI in this. This is truly a heartfelt presentation that I spent a lot of time to make sure I did something that would be meaningful, hopefully, for you. And so I'm here to essentially talk about the person behind the title. All of us have titles, we all have functions and roles within our organizations, but I think that we are so much more than that. And I'm going to, through this presentation, make the argument that all of us in this room are buyers, and all of us in this room are suppliers, and more importantly, all of us are human beings. And the most important thing we can do is connect with one another. So I'm going to go through a couple slides. I didn't bring a clicker, so part of my pacing will be going this way. So before I dive into what we're doing, I just want to say I'm so thankful to be in Kohler particularly. I get to spend per year I come here at least once. And if you don't get a chance, or hopefully you have a chance to go to Kohler Chocolates. It's the best chocolate I've had in my life, particularly the melts. I did buy the last bag of them. So yeah, you'll have to figure that out, try to bribe someone, or maybe order online or something. But they are absolutely worth the trip. It's about a 7-minute walk from here. And I also want to say, before I dive into what we're going to be talking about, I recognize so many faces, and I think it's through LinkedIn. So if we have not had the pleasure of getting to really acquaint with one another, please do. I have a table outside. I'd love for you to stop by, even if we don't talk business at all. I would love to get to know who you are, what you do, and what brought you here. So without further ado, a few things that we're going to be going through today is we're going to set the tone with kind of a fun psychological way to break any tension that we have. We're also going to go into, why the heck am I up here? What qualifies me to be talking about this? After that, we'll go into the human connection and why human connection is going to be the new luxury, followed by the buyer-supplier dichotomy. Right? We're all humans, so we're going to kind of break that thought of the division between buyers and suppliers. After that, we're going to reframe how we think about our role and how we interact with others in our industry, going into the power of collaboration, which I'm a huge advocate of, and actually there's a really big opportunity for all of us to win if we collaborate with one another, going into best practices, and best practices they're very simple. I don't know if you've read the 4 agreements. Those agreements sound easy, like don't lie to yourself. It's kind of hard to not lie to yourself sometimes. So we're going to go over a few best practices that seem simple in application, but really it's going to take some work on all of our ends. Going into closing, and then I put together a few reflections that I'm going to ask all of us to share about. This is a safe space. I deliberately don't dress with a jacket. I deliberately come like this to break any barriers. I'm not intimidating. Just because I'm up here with a microphone doesn't mean anything. I was just chosen to come up here because I love what I do, and my energy does radiate. I know that about myself, and that's been one thing I'm happy to give to you. I want everyone to leave here feeling impacted. So I have three different reflections at the end that we're going to go through, and I think it's going to help give us some really nice understanding. My slides are very simple, and it's by design. I don't want you to have to read. I want you to feel. I want this to be a session that you never forget. I want you to see I might, at certain points through this, I will be very vulnerable. I may even cry, and that's okay. We're human beings, we're allowed to. I'm a huge advocate of feel your feelings. So through this, there's not a lot of reading, there's not a lot of content to see. The things that are on the slides are things that I truly believe are statements that are worth holding on to. But at the end of the day, I'm here to talk about the humans that are working in business travel. And that goes so far beyond the title that we give ourselves, even if down to our names. My name is Ben. That's something that my parents called me. I don't have to, I could be John, Bob, Larry, or Sue. It doesn't matter. It all comes down to the person that I am inside, what my morals are, how I act, how sincere am I, how do I treat my relationships. So we're really going to be focusing on the humans that create this industry. So talking about titles, my mom she was either a janitor or custodian. We'll let you decide which the right word is. I'm happy to say, we all grow in our career, and she, has done wonderful things, but I'm curious here. I'm gonna give you two words, and I wanna know how you feel about that title. It's the same person, so I'm gonna say the word janitor, and I'm gonna say the word custodian. And I'm gonna ask you which you prefer by a show of hands. If you like the word janitor, raise your hand. Good one. If you like the word two, three? Okay. If you like the word custodian, raise your hand. Overwhelmingly majority. I like to call him Ken, because Ken was the one person in my elementary career who really saw me and made an impact. I did not have the easiest upbringing. I am a gay man in a very small town, and I had to grow into myself. And when you're the black sheep in a school, it is difficult to be able to do that if you don't have an example, a mentor, and you don't know what the heck I'm feeling, and your parents don't know how to talk to you about it, and I don't know what's going on. And there's one day that I was in this handicapped bathroom, and I was crying. I was having a hard time with my feelings. I was having a hard time with growing up. It was probably the third grade. And all of a sudden, I heard the door to the bathroom open. There was a couple stalls in there, but I was in the big handicapped one. I'll never forget, because he left a mark on me. Ken came in, he started cleaning the floors, and he heard and he knew something was going on. There's a student in this stall, and he is going through some turbulence in his life. So Ken decided to stop cleaning the floors, and he stood there and he talked to me through the other side of that bathroom stall. He got to know who I was. He got to know, to the best of my ability to express it at that time in my life, why I was struggling. He took the time to know who I was, and he made me feel seen. There was Mr. Block, the principal, there was different teachers, but if you ask me, Ben, who's the one person you remember in elementary school? Who's the one person who made an impact on you? It's Ken. Not the janitor, not the custodian, but the human being who took time to see me, the other human being, regardless of my age, gender, orientation, or anything. I'm a human who was struggling. And so Ken took the time to understand what I was going through and walk me to the principal's office, where I was able to get some help. I'm happy to say I got that help, and we're here and we're thriving. But roles are important with corporate structure because it helps us understand essentially what we're doing. But I'm going to make the argument that the title that we have is just the top of the iceberg of what we actually do in our lives. So I have an activity, and mind you, I didn't realize there was going to be stairs in this room. This was originally going to be everybody get up and we're going to stand in a line, and my story was based in elementary school, so I had a bit of an elementary example, but instead of standing and going to the left or right, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and we're gonna raise our hands. So first, I'd like to go around and just say, if you're a buyer, please raise your hand. Perfect. You can put your hands down. So that's safe to say the rest of us are suppliers, but just for the illustration, if you're a supplier, please raise your hand. Perfect. If you're a parent, please raise your hand. Wow, a lot of parents in here. If you're not a parent, please raise your hand. Okay, we got a couple non-parents. If English was your first language, raise your hand. There's a lot of you. If English was not your first language, raise your hand. 1. Now, if you have ever, in your current position, had influence over whether or not your company made a buying decision, if your opinion was asked prior to your company purchasing something, if your recommendation to your employer was taken so seriously that they bought that product, first thing that I think of is Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, but there are so many examples that we can go into. If in your current role, your perspective, opinion, or preference was consulted by your employer prior to making a purchasing decision, please raise your hand. Buyers, please put your hands down. Suppliers, keep your hands up. Look around the room. Over half of this room that are raising their hand are suppliers, and all of us have had an impact in the purchasing decision of our company. Not because of our title, but because of our expertise, because of the things that we're passionate about, because the trust that our organizations put into us as the humans. So, that being said, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to continue to break the stereotype and the traditional views of buyers and suppliers, because I'm a huge advocate of we are all humans and we all have the ability to make a major impact not only in our organization, but in our own lives. So that being said, every single person in this room is a buyer. We can go into depth on that a little bit later if you'd like, but I'm going to save that for, maybe that will be a true breakout session. And everyone here is a supplier in one way or another, whether you're supplying recommendations to your employer, whether you're supplying purchasing decisions, whether you're supplying products or services. Everyone here has an ability to make an influence within your organization. And as long as we connect with the human being, we're going to be able to make that impact. I just want to say this is not at all going to be about buyer-supplier engagement. That has been done time and time again. Leslie Andrews is, in my opinion, one of the best when it comes to buyer-supplier engagement. I'll never forget being at the Novotel Miami Brickell, sitting with her and Danielle Bilbao from Accor and hearing them talk about buyer-supplier engagement. It was incredibly impactful for me. And I appreciated them taking the time to give me that perspective without looking at me as a supplier or different than them. It was a human being conversation, and that's what I'm here to have. I want to have a human engagement conversation rather than one of buyers and suppliers. So I'm going to spend some time on this slide because I need you to care about what I'm saying and I need to qualify myself in order for you to do that. So first and foremost, there's 4 things I'm going to talk about. Number 1, I work in business travel. I have for a little over 5 years. I've been in the events industry for, as we said earlier, over 2 decades. Worked with technology, I've created patents, done all of it. Currently, I work at Driven as the partner and brand manager, and I love business travel. Business travel has changed my life. A quick story, I had 2 job offers the same day. One was with Grant Cardone, the other was with Driven, and I've never felt my gut more than the day that I made the decision to work where I am today. And it's truly changed my life, and I know so many of you can identify with that. Additionally, so many of us fall into business travel. It's very rare that we intentionally go out trying to be in this industry. I fell into it and it's changed my life, and I'm sure so many of you can relate as well. So first and foremost, I've been in here for a while. I've been in this industry. I'm friends with a variety of people regardless of titles, and I've learned a lot throughout my time here. Number 2, I have a unique perspective. Here you have Ben down here talking to you about how I think everybody here is a buyer and a supplier. Why do I say that? Well, it's because I'm categorically a supplier, but I'm also a supplier with a monthly budget I need to spend. And it's not a little tiny budget, it's not millions of dollars, but I have buying power. I don't advertise that often. I'm here doing that now because I think it's important. I'm transparent with all of you for us to be connecting as humans. But absolutely, I am someone, even today, if you have a product or service that I resonate with, we can make a deal just like that. I like that I don't advertise that because often people like to associate with me for the right reasons, not because they have a hidden agenda. People like to come and spend time with Ben because of the energy that I give, the smiles that I give, the shirt off my back that I will give you, happily. It's something that acts of service is my love language. And so whether or not I'm a buyer, supplier, budget or no budget, I want to get to know you and I'm hoping that you want to get to know me. That being said, most of you know me because of Driven. GBTA, I'm part of GBTA because of Driven. Something that it's exciting to share and I don't often talk about is I'm also the founder of the Volunteers of Vegas. If you don't know what that is, Volunteers of Vegas is a nonprofit organization based in Las Vegas that I started out of spite. It's true. Acts of service is my love language. I have been in Rotary. There's 35,000 clubs. I'm on the board for Rotary International and I've been part of a few. When I moved to Las Vegas, I went to go join a club and it was $300 to apply and $146 per month just to volunteer my time. I didn't understand it. So I asked for help. I am far from a rich man. So I said, hey, I will be the hardest working volunteer that you have, but I need a little bit of help. You guys are giving money to India for heart transplants. You give money to students for scholarships. Do you have resources for me? Because I cannot afford $146 a month to volunteer. And they said, nope. And I said, okay. Went to Google and looked at how do I make a logo? How do I make a website? And that day, we got 500 followers on our TikTok. And now today, I'm happy to share, this is the first time I'm really saying it publicly, is we're about to go national. We have partnerships with Nike, the Las Vegas Sands Corporation. We're working with the Raiders, the Las Vegas Aces. I just got the Aces headquarters complimentary for our first ever gala happening on May 3rd, thank you, which is 1 year. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's 1 year from our first event. And why are we successful? Because I see the human being. I have a team of 10 leaders. I have a board of 5 board members. We're working with over 20 organizations. Everyone gives their time willingly. I'll be honest with you, some of our volunteers are even harder working than some paid employees that I see. Because I truly see the human being behind the title, behind the person. I see the heart, the spirit, the energy, the love, and I embrace that and see that. We actually, the way that we do management is we don't create a management role and make you fit into it. We see you and we create a management role based on you. We put you through a leadership academy. Once you learn how to lead with love, I ask, what are you passionate about? They'll tell me, we create 3 goals for them. They choose their goals, I don't choose their goals. And then they can report on that on a monthly cadence. But that being said, categorically with Driven, I'm a supplier. Though we've discussed it's not a very traditional supplier role. With regard to Volunteers of Vegas, I am categorically a buyer. Every single day, I'm having people reach out to me about ways that I can automate things, purchase this, do this. I got the best sales email. I'll show you guys later, but I said, yes, I'll actually sit with you because they said, hey Ben, you got Volunteers of Vegas and Driven, blah, 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 blah. I felt so seen. So I had my assistant, I was like, Carissa, schedule a meeting with this. I want to get to know this person. They did their research on me and I'm happy to give them my time. And if it's a product that makes sense for us, we will absolutely become a partner, a client, if you will. So, but that's not in my title. You see me and you see Ben, Driven, partnership, and that's it. But if we take just a little bit longer to learn about the human being, who I'm so much more than a 9 to 5, we can find things to relate on. We can find things to win on together through collaboration, which we'll get into a little bit later. And lastly, I have absolutely no hidden agenda. My role is not one that is compensated by sales. I get no commissions. I don't get a bonus because you signed up today. I'm going to make the same amount of money today as I will tomorrow, as I did yesterday, regardless as to what actions you do or not take today. I love my role, and I love that I'm not compensated because of new clients and sales coming in, because that allows me to be honest, transparent, genuine and sincere with no hidden agenda. I'm here because I love business travel. I'm here because I love human beings. And I'm here because I genuinely think I have something of value that I can share with you today. So, let's talk about some valuable things. Human interaction is going to be the new luxury. Technology continues to encroach more and more on our daily lives. Often we are talking to robots, AI. We had a lady named Mary. She's a 73-year-old woman. She's a 73-year-old lady who had a stroke. She has no friends and no family in Las Vegas. She's in a senior home, and it's a bit of a wonky situation. She called 411. Did you know that still exists? 411? Right? And it's advanced. It's not the same that it used to be. It's very technologically savvy. But she literally said, I need volunteers for seniors. And she got connected to the Volunteers of Vegas. And we went 3 times to her storage unit. She had some paperwork that the movers put in backwards. It's a 10 by 15 unit. And she found us. And we were able to then go 3 times to help this woman who had no one. You should see, if you go on Volunteers of Vegas on the Instagram, you'll see pictures of her. She's on a walker. She's having a hard time. And we were there for her. And that's one of the most impactful things that I've done within my career with regard to human connection. Because again, you can see, she literally said, you saved my life, she said to us. So I want to talk about a little bit about titles. We talked about how human interaction is going to be the new luxury. But I want to talk about the doorman fallacy, because so often we see people, you have a title, let's say a doorman, and you think, okay, you open a door. Based on the subject matter, you can probably guess that I'm going to tell you the doorman does more than open the door. Has anyone here heard of the doorman fallacy before, out of curiosity? Perfect, I love it. One, which by the way, you're one of those LinkedIn people, I want to get to know you better. I see you on LinkedIn all the time, okay.
We'll talk soon, we'll talk soon.
Okay, you better, hold me to it, verbal contract. So, I've got less than a 60-second video. This gentleman does a much better job explaining the doorman fallacy. This is a perfect example as to why we shouldn't take titles for face value. We gotta dig a little bit deeper. There's some sound to the video, hopefully, and I'm hoping there's no feedback, but we're gonna find out together.
Is you get a bunch of consultants into your 5-star hotel. They define the doorman's function as opening the door, which is notionally what a doorman was for in the days before automatic doors. Doormen do many, many other things, quite a lot of them tacit, recognition, security. Actually, just maintaining the status of the hotel, because if you want to charge £400 a night, you kind of got to have a doorman. That was the rule. And what the consulting firm do is they go in, they define the doorman's role as opening the door, and then they say, well, look, we'll replace your doorman with an automatic opening sliding door with infrared human recognition mechanism. Over the next 5 years, that's going to save you X. And everybody in the procurement and logistics function all clap and go, marvellous, we've secured this saving. And off the consultants go. And then 5 years later, you discover the rack rate's now fallen by 50%, and their vagrants asleep in the hotel because the doorman was doing lots of other things which weren't captured by your mechanistic model of the world. So the doorman fallacy is...
So the doorman does a lot more than just open the door. They get to know you as a human. They are security. They are branding. They're a presence. They're a human being that makes you feel something. And yeah, AI will get sentient at some point, but right now, the way that human interaction goes is there is an energy that's exchanged between people. I highly recommend you read the Celestine Prophecy. It changed my life. With that being said, I love the doorman fallacy because I think, that's actually my next slide, I think that all of us have doormen, and I put doorwomen as well. We're inclusive here. We all have the doormen and doorwomen in our industries. We all act as that. I'm a supplier, I'm a partner manager, I'm so much more than that. We've got travel coordinators, front desk agents, executive assistants, drivers, event ops staff, and so much more. We all do so much more than what our titles say we do. And the doorman fallacy is something that I hope you can hold on to and remember next time you're feeling like maybe you don't know how to perfectly describe, or your title doesn't describe, or you don't know how to articulate what the heck you do. It's okay. We know that we are more than the title we are given. We're even more than the name we are given. We are a human being who's connecting with other human beings. So this is a moment where I'm going to take a break. I would love a little bit of collaboration. If you don't collaborate, I will fill the time. I'm not bad at that. But I want to to know what's something that's misunderstood about your role. Does anyone just off the top of their head have something that is misunderstood that people think about their job, or they think it's so easy but there's a billion steps to it?
Well, as a travel manager, oftentimes my friends think I can book their vacations, and I never really been. I would love to, but no. So yeah, travel manager is very misnomer. I think people get a little confused on that.
I bet. Yeah, that's a great example. All right, coming right over here, Miss Jennifer.
As a director of sales, they think all we do is take clients out to lunch and happy hours and breakfasts and coffees. Okay, it is some of what we do. But then they don't know about the negotiating contracts and local rates and everything else beyond that.
Amen. I appreciate you contributing. Anyone? Yes, thank you so much. I love participation.
Yeah, I'm in chauffeur transportation. People usually think we're just point A to point B, but really we take liability on companies. We also transport hundreds, sometimes even thousands of people for events. We do all the logistics, we track flights. We are there when you need us. It's not just a car.
I could not have said that better myself, honestly, knowing your industry pretty well. Coming right over here. What you got for us?
All right. So as a salesperson, what people think is every conversation that I have, I'm trying to sell you something. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. It's probably 2% of the time.
We're actually going to talk about that a little bit later today. I'm glad you brought that up. Alrighty, right over here.
So I work for an airline and I'm a flight attendant, apparently. Every time. Because that's only one job that exists if you work in the airline industry.
We all know that could be farther from the truth as well. All right, coming around. I see some down here. I really appreciate the contributions and participation. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see what you got.
Well, as a travel agent and a meeting and events planner, your job must be so fun. Do you need people to work with you that can do this? And they don't see all the insides and the hotels not getting back to you and people not picking their food and all the little nuances that go into these pestering that you have to do in the back and forth. So while it can be fun, it sometimes is not fun. I'm saying it out loud, guys.
Speaking of food, what is it when people go to a buffet, suddenly they forget what food is? It's like you get mashed potatoes. You get this big line going, like always duplated. Every time duplated. Because did I miss someone? Did we have any? We're good? Perfect. I couldn't agree more. I mean, that case in point. People look at a title and they make assumptions. But when you take a second to get to have the conversations, get to learn about the people, what is your job like? What do you do? Have that actual, genuine, sincere talk and enlighten people. And we'll talk about later about the different tools you can have in your sales kit, which are truly going to be impactful for your growth and development in your career and success in your career. This is part of it. It's becoming honest with what you do and shedding light into your role. So, the buyer-supplier dichotomy. I don't know why I always say it like that. It just feels like it's meant to be said like that. So, typically, let me see, am I out of full screen mode? Let's go to full screen. La-da-da. There we go. Okay, so typically buyers are known for power, budgets, and decision making. And suppliers, well, we're known for pitching and waiting and proving value again and again and again. We're good, we're good. Use us, stay with us, stick with us. We're gonna dive a little bit deeper because that's not true. These are not accurate as to what buyers and suppliers actually do. It's actually just two things. Buyers are focused on one thing, and suppliers are focused on one thing. What are they? Well, let's find out. So first I'm going to say this out loud. The buyer is not the enemy, the supplier isn't the problem, the gap between the understanding is. So as far as buyers, they're really just buying risk reduction. That's all it is. Safety is the number one concern. It's not price, it's safety. Buyers need to make sure they're making safe decisions. to reduce the risk. And that's a pretty easy to see risk, right? It's a physical risk. Finance, it's in the title, buyer. They are focusing on negating financial risk for their organization. They are trusted to make wise decisions with regard to the contracts and negotiations that they have with the suppliers that they are engaging with. And also, market coverage. You need to make sure that when you're working with a partner, they are able to be in the areas that you need them to be. You cannot risk not having the product or service in the area that you need them to be. So at the end of the day, buyers are not buying the bright, shiny things. They're not really buying anything but a risk reduction. And so if you keep that in mind, particularly within these areas, safety, finance, and coverage, it's going to be a really healthy conversation that you have with that buyer. And we'll get into a little bit later how to have a really healthy conversation with that buyer. Suppliers, we're selling trust. That's it. You're selling trust. It's all about, I always say, I don't do business with anyone but my friends. I want you to date me. I want to get to know you. I don't like an easy in because that's an easy out. I want you to really get to know who I am. Am I a good fit for you? Are you a good fit for me? Because we need to be able to get along really well. I need to understand exactly what you're looking for so I can provide the solutions that you want. So, services, they need to go as we say they're going to go. If I say we're going to pick you up here and drop you off there at this speed and we'll have this type of water, I better be able to do that. Products. If I say this is going to be available wherever you are and this is going to go very quickly and you can save these customizations and it's a one-click done, that product better perform that way. Otherwise, you can't trust me. I need to tell you the truth. I don't have to be perfect, and we'll talk about perfection, but I need to be honest. That's what buyers want. They want honesty. And lastly, what you pitched needs to be fact, and that goes back to telling the truth. You don't oversell what you do. You speak the truth about what you do. What capabilities do you have? Articulate that in a way that's honest and transparent, and you'll build a genuine relationship with that buyer. So, we're all buyers, we're all suppliers, and we're all human. I'm going to give you two examples of, I don't hate, but I'm going to call two people out in this room. Number one, Shelby. She made an impact on me 2 years ago when she gave me, at the C-Vent, and she gave me a Green Bay shirt the last day. Whenever I wear that shirt, and that's not from a buyer, that's not from a supplier, that's from my friend. That's from someone that I actually care about, regardless of what the heck she does for a living. She's someone that made an impact on me. Even her friend has come to visit me in Miami. I built a genuine relationship. And to this day, 2 years later, I have that shirt, and every time I wear it, I think about her. It's a special thing. Number two, Amy. I was with Amy in Dallas, GBTA, and we had just gotten to know each other. I think that's the year we got really close, and we went out to dinner with a few of her colleagues. And it just turned out that and I had no idea who her colleagues were. One of her colleagues had a daughter that lived in Miami with a sick cat. The cat was not doing well and probably wouldn't make a recovery. And I happened to find out that the daughter lived near where I was in Miami. So without hesitation, I looked at her and I said, take this napkin, take this pen, write your daughter a handwritten note from her mom. As soon as I get back to Miami, I'm going to deliver that to her. I know how difficult that is to be losing an animal. I like animals more than people, and I love people, so that really is saying a lot about animals. So I was like, man, I know you can't be there for your daughter, but I can bring that handwritten note from her mom. And when I got home, I went and I got a care package, and I went to that door, and the cat had passed away that day. As soon as I got there, that daughter came home from putting her cat down, and I was there with a handwritten note from her mom and a basket. It had nothing to do with the title of the people, of the mom, of Amy, of anyone. It had to do with a human being that I could touch and make an impact on. I'll never forget that. I felt, it was almost selfish. I felt so good at being able to make an impact and be helpful for someone that was going through a hard time. So, I want to talk a little bit about the power of collaboration. It's very easy for us to diagnose a problem and give a solution. An example that I have is, as I said earlier, I'm part of the Rotary Club, and we're always trying to help these kids. We're trying to figure out how do we help these, it's a Title I elementary school, these kids have nothing. Parents during the holidays have to choose, do I put Christmas holiday presents or do I give food? Literally, that is the difficult decisions that these parents have to make. And we continued to try to donate. We did books and we did Halloween costumes one day. But really, what this school needed was after school programs. But we're like, take the books, take the books. They had 6 other organizations giving them books. We never once sat down with the school and said, what do you need? What are you working on? Where are your pain points? How can we assist you with that? And if more buyers and suppliers, because we're all the same, took a little bit of time to maybe collaborate with the other side. Hey, we have this new program we're starting. Maybe we should bring in our partners to strategize. Maybe they have relationships we didn't even know of. Maybe they have solutions that we don't even know of. You have to do things different for things to be different. I started Volunteers in Vegas because nothing like that existed. Now we're going national because I marched to the beat of my own drum. And it's completely free. You can do anything. But you have to think differently. You have to act differently. And you have to be motivated and inspired for the right reasons and be here for the right reasons. And hopefully that's your case, is that you love what you do and you fall in love with this industry as I have. But suppliers can be part of the planning process. I encourage it. You do it a try, give it a try, even if it's just a test. Bring that back to your employer and say, you know what, we got these partners, let's activate them. Let's have them put together a sheet and say, what best practices or what offerings can you give us? Keep a database of it. Then you can look back on that and then you're adding more value to your role as well. What happens when buyers voice internal restraints to suppliers? Don't be so secretive, right? If you're having an issue, maybe a service went poorly, maybe there is a roadblock within your own organization, it doesn't need to be a secret. Don't keep people on the outside. We're a team. We're all working in business travel. We all want to be successful here. And at least for me, I'm not successful unless you are. So if we have an open conversation with one another and we find best practices and tools to collaborate with one another, that's the best way to find success. I'm gonna give you another story. So on Christmas Day, both of my laptops were stolen. The next day, my cell phone fell and broke. And we live in an age of technology, so I really need my tech to work. Now I have no laptops and no cell phones, so I'm like, what do? I end up going to T-Mobile. And I walk in, I'm a T-Mobile customer, and they're fine. So, whatever, it is what it is. So I end up going to T-Mobile, and I go in, and I meet this guy, Ricky. So I say, hey Ricky, what's up? My name's Ben, I need to get a new cell phone. I broke mine, I have this iPhone 12. So he takes a look at it. I was like, I don't need to have the nicest, newest, I'm not a very materialistic person, I need it to work. Just give me a good working phone. So he says, okay, he gives me an iPhone 15. They're on the 17 now, so I didn't have the latest and greatest, but he gave me the 15. So I took it, and it's nice to watch the information transfer. It's like they used to have to plug it into this machine, get your contacts to go, I'm aging myself now. But really, the process is cool now. But it still takes a little while, especially if you have as much data on your phone as I do. So I'm sitting there, we have an hour and a half, and Ricky and I are getting to know each other. Turns out he loves Pokemon. He and his coworkers I think they catch the Pokemon, I don't know how the Pokemon work. But they do all the things, that's his demographic. He's 19 years old, and he reminded me of my cousin Justin. So I immediately felt comfortable with Ricky. And it starts going, I'm there for an hour. He's like, you got another 40 minutes before this is done. I say, okay, I'm gonna just take a hot lap around the parking lot if that's okay. He's like, yeah, go for it. I'm gonna help this other customer. I say, okay. So I go out, I walk around, I see 7-Eleven. I'm an energy drink guy. I love me a nice Monster, a nice Red Bull. And I was like, I'm gonna get one. I go in and it's 2 for $5. And I was like, I hate to stereotype, but he's this 19-year-old Pokemon catching kind of guy. I have a feeling he's gonna like energy drinks. So I ended up buying Ricky an energy drink. And so I go back to T-Mobile, I walk in, my phone's almost done, and I say, hey, do you like Monster? And I give him the Monster. He looked at me like, are you serious? I said, yeah, this is for you, go ahead. He's like, dude, I was gonna go buy one after this. I really need that. I love this. I'm like, yeah, for sure. So we're having a great time. I leave, I go home. Turns out Ricky had sold me a phone without enough memory. And it was pretty awful, I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't check my emails. I had at one point 57 emails that I'm looking at, and I can't click it because it said memory full. I open my camera, cannot take picture, memory full. I try to look at my photos, memory full. I can't do anything. And then I try to call T-Mobile, and it says, to authenticate your user, please open the T-Life app. I try to open the T-Life app, it hasn't downloaded, and I try to download it, memory full. I'm like, are you kidding me? So then I ended up having to go the next day back to T-Mobile, and I was kind of miffed, but you know what? I had a great relationship with Ricky. He was nice to me. We hit it off for an hour and a half, and I got him mustard. So I stopped by, and I got him another one. I didn't even know if he'd be there. I walked in, some other girl, her name was Sam. She starts helping me. I tell her, hey, I was here yesterday, I got this phone, it doesn't work, I don't know what to do, I need it to work. She starts helping me, and all of a sudden Ricky comes in. He started an hour later than he did the day prior. He sees me, Ben? Ricky? Then he comes over, he's like, hey, Sam, I'll take care of this. I tell him what happened. I was like, yo, you sold me that phone. You know, like, God, you're professional. He's like, I am so sorry. He's like, that is on me. I misunderstood how much storage you actually needed. He's like, let me sell you, we'll do the 17. I'm gonna give you a 10% discount. I'm gonna give you a case, and I'm gonna give you a screen and a year warranty or protection or whatever it is. He took care of me. Transparency beats perfection every time. We had a relationship. Oh, and I handed him his monster. He was very happy. But we had a relationship. I went back to Ricky. He wasn't perfect. He was far from it, but he was transparent. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. Let me make this right for you. I will go with that over and over and over again than the person who tries to be perfect, is deceitful, or has an arrogance to them. I want a relationship with you. I want to date you for a little bit. Do we make sense? Yeah, let's do this. And so, amen, thank you. I appreciate that. And I mean every single word of it. And, you know, it's a bit self-serving. The nicer you are, the more you get. It's been proven to me time and time and time again. Acts of service is my love language. I love to do things for other people. I've received 10 times what I put out into the world. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I told you we'd go into a few best practices, and I said in theory they sound easy, but in reality they're not. Number one, see the person before you see the dollar signs, before you see the proposal. You have to understand who you're talking to, not the title, not even the name, the human, the spirit, the energy. Who is it? Get to know them. Ask them about, do you like dogs? What's your favorite ice cream? Where'd you vacation last summer? Start the organic relationship, and the more you get to know about that individual, not only can you cater your language to them, but you can learn what they actually care about, especially, as we said earlier, collaboration is so important. Once you know, if you start that relationship and you transparently know what they're into, what they're looking for, and you're not seeing the dollar signs in your eyes, but you're seeing the human being in their eyes, in your eyes, that conversation's gonna go so much farther. They're gonna trust, suppliers sell trust, and they're gonna buy, they're buying risk mitigation, because you're having an honest conversation with the human being and not the title and not the proposal. Number two, and it's harder to do than you think. I said you'll have to practice. Number two, replace transactional conversations with ones that actually matter. This is related to number one, but you need to understand, what do they care about? And this is a 50-50. They have to meet you halfway. If they don't share with you, you don't know. So you have to develop the relationship, number one, before you can proceed to number two. Build that trust, and then you can actually start having the conversations that matter to the human. I can talk to you about cars all day. Guess what? There's a billion people out there who can get you from A to B. What do you care about? What are you into? Where are you going? What do you look for? What have you had problems with in the past? Having those honest and open conversations that you can only have once you see the human being is what's going to get you over that finish line. And lastly, share why, not just what. I don't know about you, but my whole life I've been a why. Why? Why? Why did the light turn green? Why is the ice cream cold? Why? I've always been that type of person, and there's a lot of me out there. We want to know, why do you do this, not just what do you do? Why do I want to help people with Volunteers of Vegas? Because I saw there was an opening. We are for the volunteer first, for the organization second. We're never going to be the person who's trying to save the organization and kicking out the free labor. No, we're here for the volunteer first. You treat my volunteer poorly, we're out. We are out. I don't care who you are. You treat us with respect. And we treat our customers with respect. And we treat humans with respect. And it's regardless of what your title is. People can see right through transactional conversations. When I say the word car salesman, sorry if there's a car salesman, but when I say that, no, I doubt anyone here has a great jolly feeling. We're not feeling jovial because there's become a bad connotation to that. It's transactional, it's fake, it's disingenuine. You have to get to know, who the heck am I talking to? Have a real conversation. People sense it. Energy is a real thing. How are you putting out your energy? How are your vibrations going into other? How are you affecting other people? So you got to use these simple tips. You got to practice these tips, and you build a muscle. I'm learning to build the muscle of no. I'm a yes man. I like to help everybody. I overextend myself. My day starts at 4 a.m. I don't go to bed till after 10. It's a lot because I can't say no. So I'm building that muscle myself. So maybe you're great at number 1, but number 3 is something you still have to work on a little bit. You have to have that honest conversation. You have to kind of get rid of the bad habits, change your routines a little bit, and start to understand, how can I work on myself to improve not only myself, but improve the relationships and conversations that I'm having with other people. Moving right along. So moving the industry forward together. How am I doing on time? I have 5 minutes? Oh my gosh. Okay. It's really fast. Okay. So we all have a ripple effect, right? And like this we can kind of speed through. How are you gonna ripple? Are you gonna ripple genuinely? Are you gonna ripple with heart? Are you gonna ripple by trying to truly understand who that other person is? Or are you gonna ripple as a transactional person? Are you gonna ripple as someone who only cares about and associates with the titles that you think are attractive? I'll tell you, it's not a good look, and it's felt. If your ripple is one of caring and genuine passion and wanting to help and educate, people sense that. And together in this room, every single person in this room, you're an influencer. I'm influenced by you. Like I just told you, half of this room, I don't know, but I know your face because I follow you on LinkedIn. I get to see who you are. You influence me on a daily basis. How are you rippling? What does that look like? Actually, I did good on time. So, these are my last 3. I don't think we have enough time to go through these like in depth, but I do want you to think about them. I've always said, get rid of buyer and supplier on name tags. I would love to see what that looks like. Does business increase? Does it decrease? How do the conversations change? Are they more genuine? Are they more transactional? Are they quicker? Are they longer? I'm a huge advocate of taking buyer-supplier off of the name badges and getting to just know the person. Spend the time getting to know the person, because guess what? I can make a million connections. And I love to connect you with people. I love to refer. I just put out a whole article, publication about the psychology of a referral. If it goes poorly, that's a reflection on me. If it goes well, that's a reflection on me. You can read it all, I can send it to you. But there's a big psychology to it. And I'm happy to refer you. I love to do that. I don't care if you're a buyer or supplier, I'll help you either way. Number 2, I really wish we had time to do this, but is there someone in this room that you've wanted to compliment and you haven't? Is there someone in this room you've thought something nice about and you haven't taken the time to share that with them? It is so meaningful if you take the time to say, I love your hair today. Thank you for sitting in the front row. Also, those glasses are great. Love the circular lenses. I appreciate you asking me if I needed anything. Thank you so much for taking the time to get me 2 waters. Giving people the compliment that you think. You have a beautiful smile, I feel the warmth. Giving people that time to understand, hey, I see you, I appreciate you, I acknowledge you, and sharing that with them makes them feel so good. And lastly, what's one thing you wish the other side knew about your role? We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but it's really easy to look at a supplier and think they're there just to prove themselves. It's really easy to look at a buyer to look at them. They're so powerful. But if really the buyer said, one thing you don't understand about being a buyer is it's challenging to have so many people come up to me all the time. And I want to help everybody, I just can't. And I want to be able to just have an open conversation and I don't like this, I do like this. It's important. Suppliers, I want this, I feel this, you didn't understand this. And it would have been really cool if we had time to do that workshop, but hopefully I'll be invited back and we can do that. So that being said, that is the end of my presentation. I'm so appreciative for your time. Thank you. I'll be outside of my table and I'm like, I'd love to get to know you.